Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going through the best and worst tattoo TikToks I can find. Let's jump into it. We're also gonna read some comments. Let's hear it. Okay, first one. What do we got? Oh man, a lion. They never disappoint to be disappointing. That is a lion tattoo. Oh my God, don't be proud of that, bro. We got some blue, we got some white. All of this is just like a piss poor attempt at a tattoo. In reality, it's nothing. It's a fadey, scratchy looking thing. It's not a tattoo. And if there's anything to take away from this tattoo, which there really isn't, it would be that like, hey, you shouldn't do black and gray and try and do color in a tattoo. Like if it's gonna be color, make it color. If it's going to be black and gray, make it black and gray. Don't mix the two. I think it very rarely works. And obviously this is just like a crop tattoo. That's it, nothing else to it. But don't mix black and gray and color. It never looks good. Next. Okay, so clearly this client is disappointed in the tattoo. He's like, that line is not straight. Obviously, it's an awful looking tattoo. I have noticed in my many years of being a tat daddy, I have noticed that the most picky people are the ones that make the worst decisions. Like, I'll tattoo someone, give them a very nice, elegant, whatever kind of crap tattoo they want from me, and they will sit and they'll pick it apart. Now, obviously, this guy should pick apart this tattoo, but he should have never gotten this tattoo outside by this guy who doesn't know what he's doing at all, right? He got the tattoo he deserved, 100%. I truly believe that. If you don't fork over the money for a good tattoo, you get a crap tattoo. I hate the saying. What's that saying? Good tattoos aren't cheap and cheap tattoos aren't good. I hate when people say that. I don't know why, it just irks me. Maybe I've heard it too many times, but it just like one of those statements that is super true. Like, what are you gonna do? Dude, you're gonna pick this tattoo apart after you just made all these crappy decisions leading up to it? Get out of here! No one wants to hear it. You're a bum. You made a bum decision. It's a bummy tattoo. Chop off your neck, maybe just a couple inches of it. Just re-stitch that thing on. Pretend like it never happened, but you know, it did. It did, and we all saw it, and we all knew it was coming. On to the next. Okay, we got what looks like a traditional sleeve. So I got thoughts. Obviously traditional is what I specialize. I do a fair amount of black and gray tattooing, especially in traditional form. There's a few things. First off, I would almost never recommend doing a traditional tattoo like this, where you just put a bunch of pieces and you outline it and then you go in and shade it later and then you do that. It doesn't work. Now, that's not to say that it can't be done. I know you guys have seen this because it has over 30,000 likes. The homie Jacob Donnie, who did this amazing leg piece, he does this quite a bit where he like start to finishes a tattoo sleeve all, he outlines, he shades, and then he colors and he goes through all and does that. You're not Jacob Donnie. It's not gonna work for you. If you have the skill of that dude, then do a tattoo like him, but you don't. And so this tattoo where like they're trying this doesn't usually work. Because one, you don't have the same brain as someone else who can put together a full traditional sleeve in a cohesive looking way. And that's the beauty with traditional tattooing, is that you could piece things together and make it look really uniform and clean, but it's really hard to do with a completely blank leg. Second off, there's a bunch of placement things here that are just bad. For example, we see a snake that's facing the wrong way, and we see a horseshoe that is placed in such a weird way that they force the mean-looking dog to be off the calf in such a strange way, dude. Not a good attempt at traditional tattooing. Actually, a really flawed version of a traditional tattoo. So hard to piece together a sleeve. And this is the most common mistake I see in traditional tattoos, especially traditional tattoo sleeves, where they don't fill in all the spots and instead they just put these like massive stars and dots in giant gaps where you could eat like, look at that leg. There's a million other tattoos that need to be put into this tattoo. Like this sleeve needs at least 4 or 5 more images, and the existing images should have been bigger. Like, why are you making a dumb little butterfly that could be about that size this big? It's like not good tattooing, and it's someone who doesn't understand traditional at all. This is why people say like, oh, traditional tattooing is extremely hard even though it looks so simple. Because you look at this sleeve and all of you guys can just tell like there's something off about it. I mean, obviously the tattooing is not good, but I don't want to be too harsh because it's like, they tried, whatever. This is more just about like the positioning and the way you fill in an actual traditional sleeve. Like there should not be in a space this big 4 stars and dots. Like it should be an image, like another rose, some crap you threw in there, and then stars and dotted. And I want those gaps to be like tiny, fitted in there. Rough looking leg sleeve. You got to 60% and then you're like, stars and dots. And one last thing, I want to point out that panther on the knee. This is why I hate knee tattoos, and especially when people put faces on a knee. That looks so wonky and so goofballish. Like that panther looks more like it's got a face of a giraffe, dude. It's all long and narrow. One ear's going this way, one ear's going that way. And the dagger, don't even get me started with, definitely not straight. And that is because it's a bad tattoo for that placement. Putting faces on top of knees almost never works and almost always has wonky eyes or wonky ears or wonky everything in this case. Like if you're gonna put together a traddy sleeve, you're gonna do all this hard work, make the tattoo look good. And that is how you start at least. Fill up the leg as much as possible, then put stars and dots. Do not outline an entire leg and then go. This is not a Japanese sleeve, okay? This is a traditional sleeve. Piece it together. Go slowly, put it together, and make it nice. Very few people are going to be Jacob Donnies. Like, look at that. Like, you're not that. If you could piece together a sleeve like that, then by all means, but you can't. Actually, I've worked with Jacob Donnie. If you are a tattooer or if you have ever met tattooers, there's a few times that you will meet people who just have a deeper understanding than everybody else around them, and that is Jacob Donnie. Personally, his tattoo style is not my favorite. I think it looks almost too clean and sometimes a little boring, but really, does that matter? Because no, I'm not his clientele. His clientele loves his tattooing and like obvious, because he just has like this deep understanding of how to not only draw, but place tattoos and make them look cohesive, and like that sleeve looks perfect. That's the sleeve you want. You didn't want the CD version. Next.
Out there that flex having a full sleeve, but the sleeve be full of cloud. You cannot flex on me with that. You know that don't come off, right? Bro, you just wanted to say, I got a full sleeve, I got a full sleeve. Face ass.
Sometimes people get it. And this kid has no tattoos, he understands it. He's like, why would you just fill up an entire sleeve with clouds, a bunch of circles? Why? I have no idea. I will never understand it. And like, you know what's funny? We just saw a tattoo by Jacob Donnie who did a ton of clouds, and they don't take away from the sleeve. They enhance the sleeve. That's what good clouds can do. But a lot of times you see people smash tattoos with clouds. We've seen it a bunch. They're just like cloud on cloud on cloud on cloud on cloud, and you go, ugh, bro, what is that? I don't know. I don't know. Clouds can make a tattoo amazing, or they can make a tattoo awful. And it's just like a subtle difference. Not really, because most people, anytime I've seen someone ruin a tattoo with clouds, I'm like, that was not subtle, that was awful looking. So yeah, gross. Clouds. Sometimes people get it, dude. They don't even need tattoos. Sometimes people just understand. And this Hollywood Noah, you got it. You know the drill. Do not put clouds as a whole sleeve, and definitely don't front to me like you did something impressive by putting 180,000 clouds on your arm, okay? Clouds are dumb. What do they represent? Butts. Nothing. They're nothing tattooed. Do not put a whole sleeve of it. Next, more clouds ruining a tattoo. Not really. I mean, this tattoo's just a hunk of crap, but yeah. Clouds on clouds on clouds. I get it. It's supposed to be like, you know, heaven is a basketball game for some reason. Dude, if I get to heaven and I open the pearly gates and there is a basketball going on and that's what like people are like hyped up about, I'm gonna be like, dude, send me anywhere else. If I have to watch one basketball game, it is not heaven. I cannot imagine walking through my life, being like, basketball is life. That's what you chose for your life, dude? No way. If a tatter goes, tatting is life, I'd be like, oh my God, dude, go live a little. If you think basketball is what heaven will be like, bro, oh, I'm judging so harshly. If you think that tatting is life, you open up the pearly gates and you go into tat heaven, I'd be like, dude, this is not heaven. This is something else. This is work. But either way, this tattoo sucks. You know, my sister, I have a sister. She's great. She once dated a guy who had a basketball sleeve. I nearly kicked her out of the family. I was like, dude, you cannot be dating this guy anymore. He has a basketball sleeve tattoo. You have to break up with him. I cannot physically go to any more social events where I have to see this basketball sleeve, dude. If I have to see a basketball sleeve at a family function, that's not my family, okay? I was pissed. I was heated. I don't think I've ever been so harsh to maybe anybody. I was gonna say to a person my sister dated, but dude, I was like, bro, you're not allowed to date this guy. Like, I'm sorry. I'm pulling out that card. For the one time in my life, I will be like, no, you cannot, okay? You're tearing this family apart. That stupid jabroni, dude. Ugh, I'm spitting all over the place. That's how much I hate basketball tattoo sleeves. Next. Okay. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. These tattoos look like crap. Like just a hot pile of crap. You know, like obviously the arms blacked out, I like that part. The hand tattoos are traditional, I like that part. The finger tattoo part, totally crappy looking. I like it. I like it. I have always liked when people have their finger sleeves and they kind of look like crap. I just do. You know, but like, would I suggest anyone get this tattooed? No. Would I get this tattooed? Probably not. I don't think I would really like looking at just like smudgy black turds on my fingers. You know, like my finger got stuck up my butt and then I pulled it out and this was on my fingers. But I like it still. And I know that sounds contradictory, and I know probably a lot of you guys are gonna be like, dude, Kirk has lost it today. And yeah, like in tattooing, I've always really appreciated when people's fingers look like turds. It's just something that happens. Like you grow up in tattooing and all your friends have hand tattoos and they all just look like crap and you're like, I want my fingers to look like that. So stupid. God. You know, when you're a young tattooer, you're so influenced by the turds around you that like no matter what they do, you're like, yeah, that's cool. I'm in. I like it. Yeah, I'm cool. I like it. What do I got next, dude? What do I got? Ugh. So this guy's rolling around a toy truck onto a sleeve. I don't think this is a trend that's gonna take off very many places. I think it's kind of silly. Does it work for this thing that they're trying to do? Surprisingly, and probably if I had to do this crap, I'd probably do the same. Because honestly, drawing that on would be, you know, like you give me a complicated rose to draw on, I'll do that any day. You give me this to draw on and I'm gonna be like, crap. I hate it. I hate that sleeve. Like it looks like one of those trash polka, I don't know, things. Not really. It's like an ignorant style matched with, I don't know, like old Duncan X type of tattooing, like this stuff. I don't know. It just looks like a pile of crap to me. Obviously, I don't think that anyone, even like the tattooer, is like, this is my most beautiful work. No, I don't. I think that even the client would probably be like, yeah, this is supposed to look stupid, which, hey, right on. It looks dumb. It looks very dumb. But yeah, like if you made me stencil this any other way, I'd be like, give me a toy truck. Now, as a tattooer, I don't think I'm gonna need to keep toy trucks in my shop anytime soon because the results are kind of just crap. I don't know. Tattooing for the reels. Tattooing for the reels. You know, that's why people do it. That's why people do it, so they can take a reel and like, I'm an idiot too, dude. I'm like, we're all idiots with these dumb phones. Bro. Keep watching though, keep watching. You're okay, you're fine. Everything will be okay, or it won't be. Probably not. Just keep watching, Yeah, this is crap, I hate it, but it's better than 90% of the other crap I see online. Next, I do like the first comment. It says now available at Walmart. Don't exactly know what it means. I don't know if that's because they bought the toy at Walmart or what, but I thought that was a funny comment. I was like, That was me being funny. Next. Before and after. Okay. Now, I want to start this conversation about this crappy looking crow tattoo by saying that I've been in very similar positions as a tattooer where someone brought me things and I was like, how am I going to fix this? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I could rework the black and then like maybe I could put some white highlights to kind of make myself feel better about them walking out the door. But like, in all honesty, they're not going to do crap. Like, a white line is not going to make this tattoo look good. But it looks technically better for the picture, so I mean, good for that tattooer. Now, I mean, like, what's the best solution for this person who has this tattoo that they absolutely hate? Maybe this was, I don't know. If you brought this to me, I'd be like, I don't know, put some acid on it or something. I don't know. I'd be like, I could touch it up, but it's still gonna look like crap in 6 months. I don't know. There's not much to it. Just tattooing. It has its limitations. I feel like a broken record, dude. I'm like, tattooing has its limitations, and you know, you try and do stuff, and it doesn't always work out because like tattooing has its limitations. Shut up, Kirk. Just shut up. It's a bad tattoo. Okay, that looks very nice. Like the black, like the reworking of the black looks amazing. That white doesn't. You know, like because it's not. It doesn't. It won't. You know, like it's not gonna be there. I don't know. What am I gonna say about this tattoo? It looks better than what it once did. It's probably gonna go back to the way it used to. That's it. On to the next.
My biggest tattoo mistake that I made was probably just outside of my apprenticeship when I tattooed one of my clients and he wanted the word Irish in Yiddish. So he went on Google Translate, got it translated, gave it to me. I didn't check it because I didn't speak Yiddish. And it turns out it said, I wish. So yeah, not too bad considering 13 years in.
Okay. So this is obviously, hey, if you're getting something in a different language, don't do it, blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to talk about, you know, my biggest mistake in tattooing. I don't think that that's the tattooer's fault at all. Just popped in my head. That's not the tattooer's fault at all. He don't speak Yiddish, and he's never going to speak Yiddish. So shut up. It's not your fault. It's not even close to your responsibility. I doubt that that's his biggest mistake. I just, in my heart of hearts, is like, that seems like the biggest mistake you could pass off as not your fault. You know, it's like, oh, I just took responsibility for this thing that honestly you were never gonna know. Yeah, that's not a mistake and it's not your fault, and shut up. I'll tell you my biggest mistake as a tattooer. There's a tattoo out there. I've always never wanted to talk about this one, but now I just really don't care. A tattoo a person was getting, and I think it was like a cover-up of some crappy old tramp stampy tribal, and the person wanted this like floral looking thing to cover it up, and honestly I was way over my head. But let me set the stage. Set the stage, the ambush begins. No, I'm just kidding. I was a young tattooer. I had just gone to my first real shop without my mentor at all, so I was like in the midst of like really learning how to tattoo without the like parental guidance of someone who is really gonna be like, hey, you shouldn't do that. And so I'm young, I'm in a tattoo shop, way underqualified because all the other tattooers were so much better than me. And this tramp stamp comes in, she wants me to cover up. I like start to do this floral stuff and she taps. She's like, no, this hurts too much. I'll come in another day and we'll keep working on it. So the next time she comes in, she's like, hey, I really love the floral, but I want to add on a cat. And I was like, oh my God, like, how am I gonna add on a cat to some floral cover-up thing? So this is where, as a young tattooer, I should have been like, hell nah, dude. I ain't doing this. Adios. But I needed the money. I wanted to learn, get better at tattooing, and I didn't want to be showed up by everybody at the shop. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll add on a cat. And she like does the outline, and halfway through like some of the black work, she's like, oh, I'm tapping. And like, keep in mind, this is like, she's sitting for about 15, 20 minutes max. I'm finishing these things every time, and then she just quits. I was like, okay, no worries. Like, we'll reschedule for 2 weeks from now. And then the next time she comes in, she's like, hey, I love everything we're doing. I want you to make the cat Day of the Dead. And I was like, again, given this beautiful opportunity to be like, hey, get out of the shop. I don't want to do this crap. I suck at tattooing in comparison to the thing you're asking me to do. You're asking me to climb Mount Everest, and I'm not even qualified to climb up Mount Baldy, okay? Super underqualified for this tattoo. And so I do this crappy Day of the Dead stuff, and like by the end of this 3-4 sessions I had with this client, that back, like it was horrendous looking, dude. And I was like, ugh. And everyone around me was like, ugh, Kirk made a few mistakes there. That's a mistake, dude. That is something that was my fault from start to finish, okay? That's a real mistake, not Yiddish, dude. Like anyone in the world expects a tattooer to know Yiddish, dude. You're British. Why would you know Yiddish? Okay? No, that's a mistake. That's where I made multiple mistakes along the way, and all of it was my fault. Every second of it, because I should have told her to get the hell out of my shop. And what she was asking for was stupid as hell. But instead, I was like, I got this. I got this. I can do it. Screwed up the entire tattoo. That back piece looked like a pile of crap. That lady sucked. I do not feel that bad about it. She was totally pilled out. It was a rough time in her life. I'm sure it was the worst time in my life as a tattooer. What are we going to do about it? That is a mistake. And that is what every tattooer in their heart has. Okay, we have this trauma. Our hearts are built out of trauma of tatting. Okay, that is my tatting. And I wish I had a picture of it. I would probably never show the world, but it was bad, dude. Actually, in today's world, people would have probably called it like trendy, you know, like it looked ignorant as hell. Like, it looked bad. Oh my God. It feels so good to get that off my chest. I feel that trauma around my heart just releasing a little bit. Next. Now, this is a tattoo. I believe it's an Ice Age tattoo. Who plays this character? Who plays that character? I don't know. He's probably a guy from some things. It's another foot tattoo, okay? It's another dumb foot tattoo. When you see one, you're gonna see more. This is really just to show you any dumb trend that is happening on the internet happens in shops, okay? One person puts something stupid underneath their foot. Next week, someone else puts something stupid under their foot, and it's just this never-ending cycle of people putting dumb crap on their feet because they saw it on the internet. Next, my tattoo as a 13-year-old tattoo apprentice? I don't believe it for a day. But like, if you're 13 and doing tattoos, obviously quit. Obviously, it looks like you would be 13 doing this crap. I think it's more of just a joke. And what's the joke here? Oh, this guy has to live with this pile of crap. This is what I'm saying. My tattoo, that piece of crap, probably looked like this. Someone would have been like, I like it, you know? My trauma tat, my cat on tribal over floral on top of Day of the Dead. Ugh, Day of the Dead. How many tattoos have I done in Day of the Dead? I know I tell you that every time, but sometimes I imagine people are finding me for the first time. I live in Mexico. I've done a ton of Day of the Dead tattoos. I hate them. I hate them. I think that's where I'm going to end it. Just a hatred, a deep hatred of all things Day of the Dead. See you later.